Hi guys, how are you all doing? We recently got a blog post on PlayStation's website from the creative director of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Brian Hawthorne. So I figured we'd just go over the post and yeah. As we continued with the Marvel's Spider-Man universe, we knew that Miles' origin story as Spider-Man was something that needed its own game. Miles' multicultural background reflects a modern, diverse world, and we wanted to give players a new story with a new set of pieces, fresh villains and unique quests across Marvel's New York City. This had to be a continuous next adventure in Marvel's Spider-Man universe. We more or less already know that this game is still going to take place in roughly the same area and same map of the world as the last one did, because if you watch the reveal trailer and then go in-game in Spider-Man and sort of compare the areas, they're pretty much the same. It does look like they're going to add in some more villains that are more specific to Miles. Of course, in the trailers we saw a villain riding a very particular motorbike, which one of you actually pointed out to me, so cheers for that. So of course, Aaron Davis, the Prowler, is going to be in the game. But it also most likely means that a lot of Peter's main villains are probably still going to be specifically with Peter. Which is great, because they're calling this Marvel Spider-Man universe. So, that probably means we're going to get a large cast of characters here. Like its own nicely contained set of characters. Which, of course, can branch out and link to other characters in the universe, of course. Let's set the scene for the game a little more. It's now wintertime, about a year after the events of the first game. Marvel's New York is covered in snow, and just before Christmas break, a war between an energy corporation and high-tech criminal army has broken out. Miles' new home in Harlem is at the heart of the battle. Energy Corporation, you say? Well, in the Marvel universe, there are of course a bunch of different corporations that a lot of the heroes go up against, but one of them is the Roxxon Energy Corporation, and usually its executives in quite a few storylines tend to use underhanded means to try and up their profits, or things that are outright illegal, like violence, and heroes like Iron Man and Captain America have opposed the company. Thanks to that, they've also hired, some supervillains or just villains to help them, and two of these are characters like Will-O-Wisp and Tarantula, who are villains that Spider-Man has specifically tangled with or been involved in stories that they're involved in as well. So, there's a good chance that these villains could also make an appearance in the Miles Morales game, especially because they want to give Miles his own set of villains that Peter hasn't faced in the previous game. For those of you that aren't that familiar with Will-O-Wisp, in the comics he's a physicist who gained control over the electromagnetic attraction between his body's molecules, allowing him to adjust his density. This can allow him to do things like becoming intangible or becoming as hard as rock in some cases. He also has superhuman strength if he manipulates his body that way, superhuman speed and durability naturally, and also has the ability to fly if he wants to. On the other side of the foot, Tarantula was a pretty good athlete with great agility and not too shabby at hand-to-hand combat as well. He'd wear these gloves with retractable razor-sharp finger claws, a bit like Sabretooth or Wolverine, and some boots with retractable blades and spikes as well, that would be loaded with drugs that would make his victims unconscious. But he was also known to use some other things in there, like more lethal drugs or poisons. He's pretty good at hand-to-hand combat because he's got a military education, knows some martial arts, and is particularly decent at kickboxing. So he could be another interesting villain with a potentially very interesting story arc depending on what they do with him if he's going to be in the game. Because throughout his arc, he's actually experimented on and mutated more and more into a tarantula. And he does end up dying, but you could see how a story like that could be pretty cool. We know a lot of you want to know how big this game is. Our team at Insomniac has been working incredibly hard to bring you a fantastic Miles Morales adventure since we concluded development on Marvel's Spider-Man. You'll experience a full story arc with Miles, one that's more akin to a game like Uncharted: The Lost Legacy in terms of overall scope. Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, is an important, heartfelt, emotional, and essential experience to expanding Marvel's Spider-Man's universe, and we hope it will be for you as well. Okay, so from that it seems overall the game is going to be shorter than the last game, which is fair enough. I mean, we already know that this game is going to be something of a spin-off game, not a full next entry, right? Like a Marvel Spider-Man 2. And hey, that seems fine. We're also excited for the game to demonstrate the power of PlayStation 5 this holiday. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales will show off a near instant loading, ray tracing, 3D audio, and DuoSense controller. We've upgraded our character models. We've upgraded our characters with 4D scans and improved skins. We've upgraded our characters with 4D scans and improved skin shading for more realistic looking characters, and spin-based hair that moves far more naturally. Many of the city's assets have also been updated to take advantage of the new console. As you experience Miles' story, you'll hear and feel things in a whole new way, all thanks to PS5. But one thing about that is always nice, just how far games, of course, always want to bridge that line between real or not so real. But hey man, more spicy looking hair, more building looking like buildings. Yeah, I'm all down for that. Oh, and one last thing. Many of you fans have wondered if Peter Parker is okay. Don't worry, we'll still have much of Peter's story left to tell, but this game is all about Miles, a critical part of our Spider-Man universe, and you wouldn't want to miss what happens. Peter won't be playable in this one, which is honestly pretty great. We're giving both characters that chance to be a bit more fleshed out and great. So of course when the universe does ultimately combine, we're probably going to see something very similar to what we saw with the whole MCU movies. Whether it will be something more just in the Spider-Man universe where you get a bunch of different Spider-Mans, or if we're going to get more different types of villains, or how they're going to combine that, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I guess this also means that, some of those other super popular villains like your Venoms and your Green Goblins and all the other sort of big Spider-Man villains that we didn't necessarily see in the last game, not probably. They're not going to be coming in this game. Also, what other characters would you like included into this universe that they're cooking up? Be that, through like other games, or just like maybe having like cameos inside of games like Miles' game or Peter Parker's game. What hero would you like them to, of course, like tackle next? If they're fully trying to like build a whole Marvel universe with these games, or even if it's just a Spider-Verse, does that mean that they have to solely stick to Spider-Man? Let me know down below. And yeah, it definitely seems like this game's going to be shaping up to be one of the heavy hitters of this year. But considering that we now have full confirmation that this is going to be like a solely like Miles-focused game, is there anyone that you're kind of disappointed won't show up? What do you think about all the things we talked about in the video? Go ahead and leave all your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed the video and feels like it deserves it, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. I think it's something like 9% of the people that watch these are actually subbed. So hey, if you feel like today, but my content looks more attractive and you want to sub up, I would stop. And of course, till the next one, have yourselves a fantastic day as well. Bye bye.